For exercise P1-7 in CAD 211, we have a pretty weird shape that's occurring. So basically, I'm going to start this one just the same way that I've been starting them. I'm going to go with the line, and this first line that I draw is the left edge, and I'm going to include an actual dimension. And that's going to give me a pretty good basis for how tall this thing should be. So now that I have that, the next dimension is also a given dimension, which is 40. Now, I'm not even going to try to do trig or anything like that in my head. I'm just going to continue drawing this shape until I get the overall shape that I'm looking for. So we'll bring this down, and this comes down in at an angle and then lines back up with the beginning. Now, I have put in a couple of dimensions, but nowhere near enough to fully constrain this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on the dimension tool, and I'm going to begin the dimension. I don't see a whole lot of relationships between lines, so I'm not going to try to assume that there are any, and I'm going to use the dimensions right now as opposed to using a whole bunch of constraints, which may or may not work. So there I've got the 60. The overall width is 100. I need to get this angled piece in here dimensions, so this should be 20. That gives me that completed portion right there. The height of this from the bottom is 60. To the end right here from the left edge is 70. And you can see that this is no longer looking like it's supposed to look. So what I need to do is I need to get out of my dimension command, and I need to stretch this so that everything starts to line back up. It would appear that I have an extra line in here. So let me come in here and select that line and delete it. That line's not supposed to be there. And this is being locked in to some degree, which it's not supposed to be, so I'm going to delete it as well. And now I'm just going to draw my line up and left. Now I had to delete that one line, so it got rid of one of my dimensions, so I'm going to replace that dimension of 70 on here. And even though it says 70, I'm going to just type 70 anyway, just to make sure. And the height of this is 20. Okay, so there I have a finished sketch. I can go ahead and click Finish Sketch. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use the Extrude tool to extrude this. So I'll click on Extrude, and the thickness for this particular piece is 5. So after I type in 5, I'll just hit the green checkbox, and there's my overall shape. Now, for the holes, there are 3 holes. They all have the same diameter, so all I'm going to have to do realistically is just place where I want the things to be. So we'll come in here to hole, and you know what, I'm going to do this hole a little bit differently just to show you that there are multiple ways. I'm going to do a sketch on this surface, and I'm going to locate a point. I'll put a point up here, a point down here, and a point over here. Now I want these 2 points to always be vertical, and I'm going to dimension this point from the left edge, and it is going to be 20. Dimension the point from the bottom, which is also 20. Dimension this point from the first point, so it's 80 between the two. I'm sorry, 60 between the two. And you'll see that these points are turning blue. The points can also be fully constrained. This from the bottom is 30, and from the left edge it is 75. So notice I didn't draw any circles or anything like that. I just drew points. Well, now I can finish this sketch, and when I go to the hole command this time, you'll notice that instead of coming up with a default linear, it says from sketch automatically has the 3 holes picked. I can come in here and put in the diameter of the holes, which is 20, and then simply say OK because the points give all the location reference for the holes. Either way is fine. You still have the same basic number of steps. You still have to, locate where all the holes are going to be and stuff like that. So that is the completed P1-7 exercise.